It's great to talk to someone from Australia because my accent stays consistent and my friends don't tease me. Hi, and welcome to Motherhood Around the World, a podcast that celebrates mums everywhere and dives into the nuance of parenting in different countries. I met Lucy when she was in Paris recently, and we made soufflés while she interviewed me for her blog, Who Does the Dishes? She's also a talented photographer and recently wrote her first book, Foodwise, a kid's guide to fighting food waste. Lucy calls herself a third culture kid. Her grandparents moved from China to Indonesia, and when she was a child, her family moved from Indonesia to Australia, where she now lives in Sydney with her husband and daughter. Lucy, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for re-recording this on my new software.
No worries. It's nice to chat with you again.
How long have you lived in Australia?
Almost 30 years.
And your family moved there when you were how old?
Oh, I was only 13, and we came here all together with my cousins and my aunties and uncles, my grandparents, my parents, my sister, all of us. It's like a whole clan.
Was that quite nice to have family around you when you made the move as a kid?
Definitely, yes, because I didn't know anyone, and my parents had to go back straight after they dropped me off in Sydney to tie up loose ends back in Indonesia. So I got to stay with my cousins and my grandparents, and that was so much fun.
And you're still quite close to your family. You live close to your mum, is that right?
Yes, it's only 5 minutes away, and my in-laws just up the road. Yeah, all my cousins are in Sydney too.
So you've got your sort of, it takes a village. You've got your village around you to help you raising your family?
I do, and I also have a new village, which is my neighbors, my amazing neighbors.
Tell me about this amazing cul-de-sac that you live on and how close you are with your neighbors. It sounds idyllic.
Developed this relationship during lockdown a few years ago, and because everyone was so cooped up at home and we couldn't really leave, outside of area, we all like to take a walk, just leave our homes and be on the street, keeping the distance at the time, even though we were outdoors. And yeah, we have a WhatsApp group chat. We do a block party every year, and the kids practice for nativity scene every Christmas. And we have our own recycling group system where neighbors would drop off particular items to whoever is collecting what, and then we would take them to the recycling center. We also look after each other's kids after school, and the kids would just play. Yeah, it's amazing. We're very lucky.
That's really nice. And you told me that you guys also swap food as well. If someone has too many lemons or if someone made too much hummus.
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a few backyard veggie gardens on these streets. So it's nice. Someone would post on the group chat and say, we have too many lemongrass, please just help yourself, or too many limes, or I have a cherry guava tree and share it with the neighbor because otherwise they'll just go to waste.
What's a cherry guava?
It's this tiny, it's about the size of a cherry, but it tastes like guava. Can you imagine?
Cool.
So
yeah, does it have
delicious.
Seeds?
Yeah, lots of tiny seeds, but you can actually swallow them because they're so tiny.
Cool. Nice.
Yes, and they're very fragrant.
Amazing.
I think it's native maybe to South America, maybe.
Tell me a little bit about your journey to pregnancy.
I think I had my daughter when just before I turned. Oh, I can't remember. I had this plan where I need to give birth before 35. You know that number.
Yeah, because the Daily Mail told you that was your cutoff, which is totally incorrect.
Anyway, that was at the time, and I'm like, okay, tick.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky that the whole journey to getting pregnant, 3 months at the time, felt like the longest 3 months, but it happened. And it was just so surreal the moment it really happened. Okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. What's next?
Yes.
And what healthcare support was available to you? How were you supported during your pregnancy and then giving birth?
We have a private health insurance, so we opted for giving birth at a private hospital. So I got recommended through a good friend, this really good obstetrician, and we went ahead with him, and yeah, the whole process was quite smooth, and he was a great doctor, and we did the all the necessary scans. Um, yeah, and it was nice that I was able to visit him regularly and do that, scan like regularly, just to know the development was all happening normally.
So you had what, like a monthly checkup?
Yes, yes. And then towards the end, it was, I think, every fortnight.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not too far from where we live, so it's quite convenient.
And did you give birth in hospital?
Yes, we actually had to do a cesarean because I had a breech baby that
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't turn. Um, yeah, and it all, was in and out of the theater room within 45 minutes. And I suddenly had a baby girl in my arm that I had to feed straight, like doing the skin on skin. There's this really surreal moment where I was getting stitched up, and then the anesthetist offered to take a family photo of me, my husband, and the baby, and my baby.
Oh, I can picture that photo. You've all got the blue hats on, and you're kind of like in this
Exactly.
weird,
Yes.
awkward position. And you're, yeah.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of
Yes.
those cesarean photos. And then,
Yes.
having had a cesarean, were you fine? Like, how long did you stay in hospital for afterwards? Did you go straight home? Did you have a few days recovery?
Yeah, you can stay. Actually, with cesarean, you have to stay for 5 days. So that was really good. I think I needed that because I just didn't know. Even though you attend classes and you absorb all this knowledge before the birth, but after it really happens, like you don't remember a thing at all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They provided like during your stay there, you can attend classes like bathing classes and feeding classes. So, and they have a nursery so you can sleep at night, even though I think I got woken up quite often because my baby needed a top up feed, like I don't know, in the middle of the night. Everything was just such a blur, and you have to adapt to a whole new life, and it was very scary. I just remember that feeling and the blues. I had the blues for a while.
Oh, the baby blues? Yeah.
Yes,
When you say a while, do you mean a few days or a few weeks?
I think it was up to 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay.
Yes, because I didn't realize it until I had to see a psychologist, and she told me this is classic postnatal depression. I wish I had gone sooner.
Once you got diagnosed, did you get the help that you needed?
Yes, I did. It took a while to find the suitable psychologist because, you are sharing so much intimate information with them. And I was glad that I found a lady that really understood, like, myself and what I was
Yeah.
going through. Yeah.
I'm really sorry you
But
had to go through that.
oh, thank
Why do you
you.
think it took so long for you to be diagnosed or for you to recognize that you needed help? Do you think part
I
of it is
think
because women are just supposed to know what to do and just get on with it, and we're told that we're not supposed to feel great after we have a baby?
no. I think no one really told me anything like that. I think maybe it's partially culture thing. I guess when I told my mom about it, she didn't really understand it. But I remember now maybe she went through it as well and she didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And in Asian culture, it's a very taboo thing to see a psychologist. You don't want people to label you that you're crazy. So I don't know, I guess I was maybe too tired to understand what's going on with myself. So I was very lucky that my husband was very supportive. So he's my emotional pillars. There were just so many times where both me and my baby were crying at the same time. He had to attend it to both of us, like, oh, which one should I go to first?
Oh, I know that. I didn't have baby blues, but I know that feeling. You're both sobbing, and your husband just looks at you like, um,
Yes,
uh.
I was pretty much the giant baby, and then there's the literal newborn baby. It took me a while to connect with my daughter, and I was like, what's wrong with me, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. I'm really sorry
Yes.
that that happened. And
Thank
you were
you.
breastfeeding throughout all of that as well, weren't you?
I was breastfeeding, but at the age of 3 months, I had to give her a top of formula because it was just not enough. I wasn't producing enough, but I didn't know it until we went to a pediatrician, and doctor just looked at me like, she's just hungry, he said. Just feed her more. I'm like, okay.
Thanks. Thanks, mate.
Like, $300 later, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, formula is expensive in Australia. And also, I never had kids in Australia, so I can only talk about what I've heard secondhand. But it sounds like there's quite a lot of pressure to breastfeed and that formula
That's,
is not
that's
really
what I felt.
proposed. Yeah, formula is not
Yeah,
really proposed to young mums.
yes, I think you're quite right. I remember because my milk came in pretty late, maybe on the fourth or fifth day even in the hospital. So they had to give her formula first. Yeah, she had to eat, right? She had the colostrum, but they say when you get home, keep keep breastfeeding, keep doing the skin on skin. Luckily it was summer, so didn't mind. And then your body gets really hot when you're breastfeeding anyway.
Yeah, and so
But
thirsty.
so thirsty, so hungry, so so painful. I don't know, something different about my breast that it felt like the needles were trying to poke out from the inside every time I feed. There was just so much pain, and then I had mastitis like 4 times throughout the whole. I fed her for 9 months, and
Hmm.
it's really awful. But I still had to keep feeding her, top up with formula, make sure she's on the right track with the weight, doing all that stuff. Go to the community nurse, which weren't very helpful. So I had to call the hospital and ask for help again. Many trips to the hospital, learning about how to feed her properly. So I was very, very happy when she decided to stop breastfeeding at 9 months.
Yeah, game over.
I got my body back.
Yeah, get your boobs back.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, in France they're very happy to give you formula. In the hospital, they
Yeah,
came
I
in
heard that. Yes.
when my baby was like a day old, they came in with they have these little disposable bottles that they just leave in your room
Mm.
with disposable teats. They gave me one. I was so happy. I was like, wow. I went into the hallway.
Yes.
Hey, do you think I could get some more of these? They were like, yeah, have as many as you want. We don't care. Big deal.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious how maybe things have changed now. I'm not sure. My sister is about to have baby in 2 months, so I'll find out.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
Tell me how you chose your daughter's name.
that was quite a fun process. And we chose something that she can track it back to something that relates it to the universe. So we start Googling the names of the stars, and we found this ancient binary star that are still out there in space. We can see at night. It's pretty cool when we have these stars app on our phone that you can point it to the sky at night and you can find where her star is, and that's her name. And that's how we chose the name, so that she can have a sense of curiosity about life and how this whole universe work, I guess. And also, depending on what name we choose, we decided if it sounds better with my surname or my husband's surname. So in the end, it sounds better with my surname, so it's my family name.
I've got a few friends who've chosen to put their family name as the middle name and then their partner's family name as the surname, or vice versa, so that they're both on the passport regardless of without having a double barreled name, which I
That's
think is
what we
quite good.
did too. So
You did,
my
yeah.
my husband's surname is her middle name.
I think that's a really great option. Having a long surname and being married to someone with a long surname, I didn't want to give my children both because I still remember filling in those, those multi-choice tests we had to do.
Yeah.
And you had to colour in the dots for your surname. I'm still scarred by those. Okay, what was your maternity leave situation? Or what was your family leave situation?
What's a family leave?
So parental
you mean
leave.
my partner as well?
Yeah, exactly. Because I keep asking people, what's your maternity leave situation? And actually that doesn't give a full overview of what the policies are. Now. Yeah.
Because both myself and my husband work for ourselves. We're both self-employed. So we just really took the time that we needed. I think he took about 6 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
But because he works from home, so he was always there to help out. And due to all the things that I was going through, it was so much help. It was really helpful for him to be at home all the time because I couldn't have done it. Him being by myself 24/7.
And when you were ready to return to work, what were your childcare options?
There are some childcare centers that take young babies, but we enrolled her in the daycare when she was about 2.5 years old. I think if we started earlier, maybe the transition from home and going to daycare would be a bit more smoother because there were just weeks of crying at drop-off. But in the end,
I hate to tell you, I think that's any age.
At any age, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped my kids off at holiday care today and there were tears.
Oh, okay. And how old are they?
Yeah. 5 and 3.
Oh, yeah, still very little.
Unfortunately, I think starting childcare at any age is a tough one. So don't blame yourself for the age you choose. It's absolutely not that. When you put your daughter into childcare, was it affordable?
In the area where we live, I think it's quite affordable. Plus, we receive the subsidy from the government, so I think we only pay $50 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know where my sister who lives in a different area, she had to pay almost $200 a day. Yeah, so it really depends where you are.
What age do children start school over there, and what does a typical school day look like?
They start kindergarten at 5, and our local school starts at 9:30, but some other schools start at 9, and it's typically 6 hours at school.
Does that mean you can do a full day of work, 9:30 till 3:30?
I usually can do most of my chores and work, done within those hours. And if not, then when she gets home, she'll just do have her snack and do her homework, and I can still go back to my desk.
She's now if she needs to be,
now. Yeah. She can make her own afternoon snack,
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It's a good age. and she can help out with some just chores around the house as well, which is nice.
What chores does she do?
She puts away the clean dishes from the dishwasher, and we give her $2 credit every time she does it. We can we just write it on the whiteboard on the fridge, and then she can use that money to buy things that she really likes.
Oh my gosh, can someone pay me $2 to unload the dishwasher? I think my husband probably would.
You want €2.
Yeah, I want €2. I think my husband actually would. And when kids start kindergarten at age 5, is there a fee for that, or is public school free?
Public school is free. There are some really small fee. They do ask for donation, and you pay for some materials that the school provide the kids with, and some building maintenance fee. So in total, I think the annual fee that we pay the public schools, say around $500 or so.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
also optional, right?
The donation is optional, but because public school in Australia are always underfunded,
Yeah.
there's a parents committee here in every public school, and we always come up with activities so that we can fundraise for school. I don't know, does that happen in Paris as well?
Not as much. They do a little school fete once a year.
We do that as well, the school fete, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest fundraising event.
This isn't really so much fundraising. I mean, I think they do raise a little bit of funds, but it's more, I think, a social activity. We also get asked to make
Okay.
donations.
Yes, yes.
And they ask you multiple times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember in Australia, the bake sales they used to do on election day, or things like
Yes, we
sausage
still
sizzles.
have that.
I used to love those. We don't really have any of that, for example.
Okay.
There's no election day activities. There's not really any other fundraising apart from
So
donations.
that's good. So the government takes care of that part pretty well then?
Here, yes. Now, I speak from a very privileged position because in our area, schools are really well funded, and I have had only good experiences with the public school system. Our kids are all in public school. In theory, all schools in France they're all supposed to be exactly the same. They're also supposed to be taught the same thing. We don't have states here, so it just goes federal government, Ministry of Education, schools. There's no sort of state level of regulation.
Yes.
So in
this is
theory,
we are based on states, yeah.
yeah, so in theory, all schools are supposed to be taught the same thing with the same access to funding and to things they need. But obviously, in practice, that doesn't always play out in exactly the same way everywhere. So I know that President Macron was making a big push to make sure that schools that needed more funding could get it, or schools that needed more teachers could get them. But I haven't followed through on whether that was more in theory or in practice, and if there was follow through on that. But I would say our school is funded as much as it needs to be.
That's nice. And plus the children get fed proper lunch at school, do they?
Yeah. So that the lunches are optional. I don't know anyone who doesn't do them, and you pay a small fee. I think it's about a few euros a day for the lunches.
Wow.
So we do pay for them.
Yeah,
but it's much more affordable than buying the ingredients and making it myself. That's for
also,
sure.
you don't have to make lunch boxes for your children?
No, we don't send them with anything. My kids go to school with their shoes and their coat, and that's it. Yeah, not even, I mean, they're quite small. My teenager obviously takes a school bag, but the little ones don't even take a backpack, nothing.
How about water bottle?
Nope, they've got water fountains all throughout the school.
Really?
So the kids just, I don't know, self-serve themselves water. You can opt not to be in the school lunch program, but not, as I said, I don't know anyone who doesn't.
Yeah,
because,
why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, but also the problem is if you don't have them in the lunch program, you have to pick them up and take them out of school during lunch hour.
Oh, wow.
And it's a really long lunch hour, so you would be picking them up at, say, 11:30 and dropping them back at 1:30, which really takes a chunk out of your day if you need to do that every day. What do you need to provide for the school? Do you need to pack lunches?
I mainly pack her lunch boxes either the night before or in the morning. Funnily enough, I was just thinking before I rang you today that I remember when she was in kindy up to year 2, every year we have to provide the school with her own tissues and sanitizer gel and whiteboard markers and pens and pencils. Is that common? Does that happen in Paris too?
In Paris, I think we have to take a box of tissues and maybe an egg carton for like a project.
Egg carton.
But
Oh, okay.
I think they use them for art projects and a binder, and they put all their work in a binder, and then they bring it home at the end of every term, and we look through all the work, etc. But if you don't take any of those,
tissue is a universal.
I think so. Yeah, and I remember being a kid in primary school in Australia, and you would just kind of you would buy the pack of everything you needed for the term, or your books and pencils and whatever, as a set pack from the school. And I do remember a box of tissues being in that, and I was really confused why, but now it makes sense.
That's sweet. Because I went to high school in Sydney. I don't remember having to prepare any of that. Maybe that's just for primary school.
In high school, no. I don't think we had tissues in high school.
See.
To be fair, I never realised tissues were that important until I became a grown adult. And it's one of the reasons that I love my husband. He always has tissues. He always has a little carry pack of tissues.
Yes.
And when he doesn't, I'm like, ooh, losing points. Poor thing. Speaking of tissues, what are your options when your daughter is sick? Do you have to take the day off, or can you just do you have family who can help you, or do you just muddle through?
I would usually reschedule what I have and take care of her, or my in-laws is really close by so they can help out. But for example, she was sick last week. Just stay in bed and read her books, and I can just still go about what I need to do.
Oh my God, she sounds like the perfect kid. Stay in bed and read her books. And did kids do lots of activities there? After school activities?
Yes, I think most of them do. Yeah. Like, a lot of her friends have something on every day from Monday to Friday. My daughter does 2 extracurricular at the moment, and it's just a lot of driving. I can't deal. Too much dropping off and waiting around. Especially after school hours, the traffic is really bad in the afternoon.
Yeah, we even get reports about Sydney traffic over here, about how bad it is. There was some new tunnel or bridge or roundabout they built that was a complete fail. It was brand new. It opened maybe 2 months ago.
Yes, we drove past that yesterday.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this amazing game-changing traffic system, and it's just complete chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And in Sydney, I mean, there is public transport, but it really is a driving city, correct?
The public transport here is so slow, and with the other government that was in charge before they privatized a lot of the buses and reduced the number of buses that operate, it's just not a very effective way of, if they want to, say, reach the net zero of carbon emission, get people to drive less, they're not really helping with reducing the bus routes.
I've only ever been a tourist in Sydney, but I have to say, getting a ferry across the water is a pretty nice way to travel. That's pretty nice public transport. That's
pretty nice, yeah. That's like we do that in the school holiday, we would catch a ferry.
Yeah, exactly, like a treat.
Yes. For a lot of Sydney-siders, they would catch that every morning to go to work or school.
Yeah, which seems nice until it's the middle of winter and raining. What do you do for holidays? Do the kids get a lot of school holidays? And if they do, are there options to keep the kids entertained? Or does your daughter spend time with family? Or do you guys travel?
We are just starting the end of term 1 holiday at the moment, actually. And you hear a lot of, I'm bored. So I just try to organize as many play dates as I can if the other friend is available. There's definitely a lot more family time, and just learning, I guess, just do things around the house with me, learning how to do this or how to make that, how to bake, this cake or cook that dish. And I try to sign her up in some sort of creative workshop every school holiday. We don't go away every school holiday. It's quite expensive. So that's like a once a year kind of thing.
What language do you speak together at home?
We speak English. She started speaking at the age of 11 months. And prior to that, I was speaking to her mainly in Mandarin. And but when she started speaking English, we were like, okay, we need to encourage her to speak more complete sentences. So we decided, okay, to not confuse her, we choose to speak in English. And only recently she is willing to learn some Mandarin from scratch again.
Because how many languages do you speak?
I speak three fluent languages, which is Mandarin, Indonesian, and English. I'm currently learning French. When I
Bravo.
go to Paris next time, I can say some words and not haphazardly read the Google Translate on my phone. And then in high school, I learned Korean and Japanese.
Wow.
I do enjoy learning languages. It's my gateway to understand other culture better.
Well, it sounds like you definitely have an ear for them. What is the split on housework in your family?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We just pick each other's chore whenever we can. My husband also enjoys cooking, so he does what he like the specialty dishes that he makes, and then he does a lot more of the outdoor house maintenance kind of thing, and I'll do the indoor cleaning and tidying up. It's pretty balanced. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
Good. And what's the split on parenting? Are you more together as a team or take turns being lead parent?
We're more together as a team as well, but I feel like most of the time I'm the bad cop. You know, just but
I
yeah.
can't I can't picture you as a bad cop, but I'll take
Oh,
your word for
really?
it. No. What is bedtime generally?
Bedtime, asleep by 9:30 or 9:45, and yeah, she gets 7:30. That's a decent amount of sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 9 hours.
Mm.
More than we get, that's
But
for sure.
yeah.
And is your daughter involved with grocery shopping, with cooking, with maybe helping if you have fruit trees in the garden? Does she help you pick the fruit? How do you
During
organize
school,
food in the
yeah, during
house?
the school holiday, she's more involved in this sort of activities, and she sometimes likes chopping some vegetables while we prep dinner. Seasoning things, so I let her do that and just trying out the flavor and the taste of the dish. And I do ask her if I'm doing my grocery online and like, which would you like? And then she'll tell me what she likes. We eat together every night, so there's plenty of like family chat during dinner, which is nice. And then that's when she share with us all the stories about what happened at school.
And do you have dinner with your family pretty regularly as well?
Yes, we go to my in-laws is for dinner once a week, and it's nice to have a variety of different cuisine to kind of mix your week with, because it's also good for my daughter to be exposed to. I cook very different things to my in-laws, so it's nice to have a family time and eat something different once.
My in-laws cook the same thing as I do, and my kids always eat theirs so much better than they eat mine. It's just very insulting. What does a typical weekend look like for you?
It's very boring, but we always start the weekend with cleaning up the house.
Good, standard.
And then once that's done, and then we can, I don't know, take the dog for a walk, explore new parks, and get some groceries or meet up with friends. Yeah, do some gardening around the house. It's mostly weekend is for relaxing and play and just chilling, resetting everything, for the week coming.
Yes, that sounds good. Being a mum can be isolating. Did you find that there was any local communities or support networks when you needed it?
I was assigned in my local mothers group, but because of my postnatal depression at the time, I couldn't deal with any of that or even meeting new people. I just wanted to be at home with my family. That's about it. And but luckily, a close friend of mine had a baby similar time to me, so that's really it. Just me and her and our babies. We met up quite frequently and learn about motherhood and parenting together at the same time. So I felt really lucky to have that relationship.
Is there any government support for families in Australia?
Yeah, there's some payment, yes, like a maternity leave pay, I think for about 4 months, depending on how much you earn, and there's like a chart how much you can get from the government, and they also subsidize the daycare fee as well.
I know that you are quite involved in climate action. I'm going to ask if there's anything you'd change at a policy level about that, but also about parenting or raising kids in Australia.
Yes, it would be nice if the government stopped funding the new gas plants
That'd be a good start.
and keep to their promise of hitting the net zero. I feel like, I don't know if it's just our government or just the whole world, is they're trying to do some some good things but doing the bad things at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
two
kind of
steps
like
forward, one
patting
step
themselves
back.
at the back. So
Yeah.
it's like, do you actually get the point or not? This is killing the planet, and our kids are going to suffer from this. This year I joined this group called Parents for Climate. It's a national not-for-profit group founded by four moms actually, and now they have about more than 20,000 followers all over Australia. And we meet up once a month to do really practical climate actions like writing to the government, federal MPs, state MPs, to make them stick to what they promise us. And at the moment, the one of the biggest thing we're campaigning for is to get daycares install solar panels, but not all daycares have the money for that, so we need the government to subsidize. And yeah, the group has successfully did this for public schools a couple of years ago, and now we're trying to get the government also help out the daycare centers.
Great. So that's a really nice marriage of policy change and parenting, basically.
Yes, and we meet up when we meet up, we bring our kids along. It's just a very beautiful group of people where we really connect and understand what's happening. And yeah, I feel really lucky to have found this group because it can feel quite lonely when you're doing all these climate actions. You feel like what you do every day is not changing the world, in that big scale. But when you do it together as a group, you feel more empowered.
Yeah. I'll link to their webpage in the show notes as well. So if anyone's interested, they can find out more and maybe join.
Oh, thanks so much. Mm.
What have you found it easy to make friends? Have you got any mum friends?
Yes, I have plenty of mom friends, really amazing women that I've met throughout my daughter's life since she was a baby, and we keep in touch. And every year when she goes to a new grade, I make more new moms friends. It's really lovely.
And what are your favourite traditions to celebrate in Australia?
We love Chinese New Year because we get to see everyone during that week. So Chinese New Year runs for 15 days, and within these 15 days, you visit all your families. And my daughter really likes collecting money from the
Yeah,
the
I got my
donuts.
first red envelope this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I know.
How much was in it?
It's like 30 euros and I don't even want to spend it.
Not
It's on
bad.
the it's stuck to the fridge with a magnet. I'm keeping it in there.
Oh, okay. That's really nice. And did you say, because, the tradition is you have to wish the other person, wish you good health and lots of fortune. Did you say all that and then they give you the money?
Yeah,
Or
I
they
said
just
that.
gave you the money?
No, I was at a dinner and my friend had bought red envelopes for everyone, which was really nice. And she taught us the phrase, but I think I butchered it. I tried. I tried very hard.
So yeah, we
Um,
had that. This year is the year of the dragon, so there's a lot of dragon related, I don't know, like images and toys or like figurines that you see all over Sydney. It's quite a big celebration.
yeah, fun. What do you love the most about being a mum in Australia?
Ooh, like, I guess the fact that, I mean, in my case anyway, I feel like I could still have my own identity and I could go on doing all my creative projects because of all the support that I have around me. Yeah, I feel like I will not take that for granted because it's such a privilege to be able to live like that. Because that's really important for me to still be able to carry through what I used to do before I have my baby, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I just can't imagine that happening. Say if I were to have my child back in Indonesia, I think there would just be less opportunity for me.
Yeah. And what is your biggest fear raising kids in Australia?
Not really fear. I don't think we have that because fear can be debilitating, you know what I mean? So I think we just try to say equip her with all the skills and knowledge she needs to be able to thrive in this world, especially with the existence of social media and all the things are just not the same as when we were growing up in the 80s.
No, definitely
um
not. And there's a lot of
yes,
pressure on kids these days.
yes, and I just hope that we would be able to guide her through all these, for her to be happy and content and have a healthy mental health is very important for us. I think if
Yeah.
we can achieve that, that's we will feel like okay, we've done it as parents. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But yes, just I think it's really good that the mental health support in Australia is widely available because because of what I went through, it could be such a barrier to improve your life quality.
And can you just tell me about your amazing book that came out last year?
Oh, thank you. Yes, my book called Food Wise, which I wrote with another kids author, Lucy Bell. We felt the need to educate the young generation about food waste. So we wrote this book with lots of fun activities and fun facts to engage the children understanding about where their food comes from. Pretty much it's filled with these activities that reawaken their sensory about connecting with food in new and fun ways. That came out last August and it's in a lot of the school libraries, and we love that the kids really enjoy reading from it and making the dishes from the book that I created, all the recipes. So yeah, it was a fun time. The whole thing took us about 2.5 years to make, and it finally came out last August.
Well, congratulations. We have a copy and we love it.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been so nice to chat with you. And I'll
Thank
speak to you
you.
soon.
Yes. Have a good day, Emily.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, please rate, review, and subscribe, which will help other people find us. See you next week.